Glenn Youngkin, governor of Virginia, and Brian Kemp, governor of Georgia. What if these two ran in the Republican primary for president in 2024? First of all, it would be over very quickly. Glenn Youngkin would get destroyed in 3 minutes, and Brian Kemp would get destroyed in 4 minutes, because these two do not have what it takes to win a Republican primary. And so, what would happen if they ran? First of all, it'd be a little entertaining, but as I said, it would be very brief and wouldn't last very long. Now, Glenn Youngkin managed to win in Virginia because the candidate he was running against, the Democrat Terry McAuliffe, was just absolutely useless and a bad candidate. So Glenn Youngkin got very lucky. And Brian Kemp managed to win the first time in Georgia because he was a Secretary of State and he purged a lot of voters and really suppressed a lot in order to get himself elected governor. And the second time around, of course, he won this time. He won re-election. And he did have the power of incumbency and a huge advantage and a lot of things working in his favor. So he did win this time. And it should be noted, of course, that Glenn Youngkin, just was indifferent publicly to Donald Trump while he was running his campaign. And Brian Kemp was basically, he did not go along with Donald Trump's ridiculous plans, and Brian Kemp did not commit treason. And so Brian Kemp just did the bare minimum like Michael Pence, and that really made Donald Trump very angry with Brian Kemp. And therefore, Donald Trump endorsed David Perdue against Brian Kemp, but Brian Kemp obliterated David Perdue, and David Perdue lost pretty badly. So yes, Brian Kemp managed to survive the ire of Donald Trump, and it would indicate that the voters in Georgia, even the Republican voters, maybe are not totally in love with Donald Trump. So there is that. But as mentioned multiple times in this video, Brian Kemp and Glenn Youngkin would not last for 5 minutes in a Republican primary. As I said, Brian Kemp would be over in 4 minutes, and Glenn Youngkin would be over in 3 minutes. And it's just, obviously, I don't think either one of them is ever planning on running for president, and I think that they are actually both smart enough to know that they would get destroyed very quickly. So I don't think either one of them would be foolish enough, but if they did, it would just be entertaining because Brian Kemp is so monotone and just looks so boring and is pretty boring all the time. And of course, he has horrible policies too, but yeah, the point is Brian Kemp is just like, he's like a stick. And Glenn Youngkin, he's just a very funny looking like cartoon character or something. So they would not last in the 2024 Republican primary. But you know, if things keep going south for Donald Trump and Donald Trump is completely unviable as even a Republican primary candidate, then maybe Kemp and Youngkin could use some entertainment, and maybe they could give us some entertainment by running in the primary, which they would lose very quickly.